Auschwitz officer Irma Gries on trial for war crimes at only 22 years old, September 1945. Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp complex, aerial photograph from a 1944 Allied recon plane. Australian Infantry of C Company, 248th Battalion moving past a Matilda of C Squadron, 29th Armoured Regiment on Tarakan, Dutch East Indies, May 6, 1945. Australian outlaw Ned Kelly in 1880, the day before his execution. Australian soldier consoles a wounded American on the Western Front in World War I, circa 1918. Australian soldiers disembarking in Singapore, 15th of August, 1941. Australian soldiers of the 4th Division Field Artillery Brigade on Duckboard Track in Chateau Wood, near Hooge, Ypres Salient, October 29, 1917. Photo by Frank Harley. Australian soldiers thrown into the air after their boat sailed onto an explosive device. No one was seriously injured. 1942. Austrian strongwoman Katharina Brumbach. Austro-Hungarian soldier dressed as Krampus, the Christmas demon, 1917. Austro-Hungarian tail gunner armed with 10 Mauser C-96 handguns, World War I. Auto dealership using their front window broken by Sweetheart Ruth to advertise, 1926. Autochrome image of snow-covered war-torn street in Chani, Picardy, October 1917. Autochrome Lumiere of a Greek woman in the 1920s. Not colorized. Autochrome Lumiere shot of Christina Elizabeth Frances Bevan in the beach of Dorset, England, 1913, 650 by 900. B. 17-year Etikatter from the 452nd Bomb Group was the only original aircraft from the group to survive the group's entire tour of duty in Europe, 120 recorded bombing missions and 138 recorded takeoffs. B. 17 Flying Fortress, Queen of Hearts Lil Satan, of the 379th Bomb Group sustained serious damage over German targets on June 28, 1944. Despite extensive structural damage, pilot Lieutenant Carl Becker. B-24 Liberator Dogpatch Express. B-29 Superfortress Untouchable in crew, 1944. Ba'athist Iraqi officials overlooked damage in Belgrade after 1999 bombing of Serbia, 1999. Sweetheart Heffrown and Bill Garnera of Band of Brothers fame visit the grave of a fallen comrade, 1950s. Babies left to sleep outside, enforcing immune system, Moscow 1958. Babies who lost their parents during the Vietnam War being airlifted back to the United States for adoption, 1975. Ballerinas in the cafeteria at the Bolshoi Ballet, Moscow, Russia, 1961. Ballet class of Bernice Hammond for little girls, in Washington, D.C., 1942. Barack Obama Sr. and his son. This was the only time he ever met him. 1971, 341 by 246. Barn fire, Tuxford, Saskatchewan, July 1959. Barricades on the Rue Saint-Maur, Paris, before the assault, June 25, 1848. Baseball player Old Hoss Radbourne. Battalion courier Adolf Dictator in May 1915, with his long gun slung over his shoulder, on his way to deliver a message during World War I, 636 by 600. Bibelplatz with Eastern and Western cars, the place of the book burning, 1933, and Commode. Before GPS, it was possible to get driving directions through a navigation switchboard. 1963. Before the creation of the EPA, New York was one of America's most polluted cities. Before the tourists, before the surfers' fishermen's wives working on the beach in Nazar, Portugal, early 1960s. Belfast, 1980. Belgian Paracommando is standing near Western hostages murdered by Simba rebels. Stanleyville, Democratic Republic of the Congo. November 24, 1964. Belgium coal miners crammed into a coal mine elevator, coming up after a day of work, circa 1900. Believers of Dami Mission Church awaiting promised rapture, Seoul 1992. The pastor was arrested for fraud. Words on the wall reads, Benito Mussolini skiing March 1937. Benito Mussolini strips to his waist and helps harvest grain for a propaganda photo shoot on the Pontine Marshes, Italy, 1938. Benjamin Ferencz was the last surviving prosecutor from the subsequent Nuremberg trials. In 1947, he became the chief prosecutor in what was called the biggest homicide trial in history. He spent his N. Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump, around 2004 to 2005. Trump at the time was a reality star. Netanyahu was Israel's finance minister. Berlin, policeman. Berlin, 1923. Less than 5 years after the end of the Great War, Germany economy lies in ruins. A disabled war veteran begs in the street dressed in his pre-war Dunkelblau Waffenrock. Bernhard Sinberg posing with Chinese soldiers during the Battle of Shanghai, 1937. Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe meeting at the Ciro nightclub for the birthday of Walter Winchell, 15 of May of 1953. Biafran soldiers bring a Nigerian 3rd Marine prisoner into a jungle headquarters to be interrogated. He has been stripped down to his underwear, his precious uniform and equipment shared out amongst. Bill Clinton and White House intern, Monica Lewinsky, 1998. Bill Clinton and Boris Yeltsin admire the views of the Hudson River Valley. New York, 1995. Black citizens attempt to cast ballots while being photographed by police officers for purposes of intimidation. Greenwood, Mississippi, United States. August 1963. Blanche Monnier after being freed from captivity in 1901. Blimp crashes due to nuclear test in Nevada, 1957. Blindfolded Australian Commando Sergeant Leonard Siflete with Private. Bob Denard poses with one of his laissez-faire. Boeing B-17G Flying Fortress with its bomb bay doors open over Berlin. This aircraft belongs to the 452nd Bomb Group. Boiler explosion of CNOT-1 No. 3020 on May 1948. Bonnie and Clyde's bullet-riddled Ford V-8, 1934. Bosnian Muslim refugees arrive at New York's JFK International Airport, 1993. Bosnian troops in a trench south of Sebriv in Galicia, June 9, 1916. Boy being scolded by a pitchfork-wielding man, 1904, United States. Boy standing in front of fallen statue of Lenin, Ethiopia, 1991. Boy who was bitten by a dog receiving a rabies vaccine at a Commonwealth Fund-supported child health program demonstration site. Rutherford, Tennessee, United States. 1929. Boys playing air combat on a Parisian street in 1915. Photo by Leon Gimple. Breakfast for the Apollo astronauts, 1969. Brig General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., the oldest man to land on the beaches of Normandy, armed with a cane and pistol directed troops in the first wave on Utah Beach, June, 1944. British aircraft carrier HMS Hermes. British and French soldiers relaxing in 1855 during the Crimean War photographed by Roger Fenton. 1079 by 982. British and French workers meet while digging the Channel, which connected Britain and mainland Europe for the first time. 1990. British and Indian mercenaries in Sri Lanka armed with personal purchase M16s, who stayed behind to take the fight to the LTTE terrorist regime of Prabhakaran, 1991. British and Indian mercenaries in Sri Lanka with personal purchased M16s, 1991. British Army bomb defusal specialist draws a crowd as he inspects a suspicious package during the pro-CCP riots in Hong Kong. British athlete Ivy Russell. British athlete Ivy Russell. British ballerina Mary Drage in front of John Singer Sargent's 1899 portrait of the Wyndham sisters for U.S. Vogue December 1, 1950. British champion weightlifter Ivy Russell poses with her trophy after her victory over Tilly Tinmouth with the winning lift 369.5 pounds at 5 feet 7, 126 pounds. 13 of April of 1932. British champion woman weightlifter Ivy Russell deadlifting 369 pounds at 5 feet 7 and 134 pounds in September of 1934. British diplomat Walter Runciman meeting Czechoslovak President Edvard Beneš to mediate minority rights dispute with the Sudeten German Party during the Sudeten crisis. All efforts failed, which result. British infantryman in 1941 with a long World War I-style bayonet affixed to his long gun. British mine employees from the Dulcoath Copper and Tin Mine, Camborne, Cornwall, England, United Kingdom, Victorian era, c. 1895. 800 by 637. British personnel with equipment, conducting a survey on Wink Island, the southernmost of the islands of the Palmer Archipelago, along the west coast of Antarctica, Operation Tabarin, on September. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and French General Charles de Gaulle walked down the Avenue de Champs-Élysées during the French Armistice Day Parade in Paris. November 11, 1944. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill fires a Tommy firearm alongside American General Dwight D. Eisenhower as American soldiers look on in March 1944. British recruits at the East India Company Military Seminary. British schoolboys holding discarded syringes, 1970s. We used to play with these in school all the time because they were like mini water pistols. British soldier hiding from the rain under the German tank Tiger during World War II, 1944. British soldiers after their release from Japanese captivity in Singapore, 1945. British soldiers enjoying some tea outside of their Mk6. December 31, 1940. North Africa. British troops trying to read ancient Greek at the Acropolis during Revolution of December 1944. Broadway at Times Square, New York, 1949. Broke, baby sick, and car trouble. Photo by Dorothea Langes, 1937. Brooklyn Dodger baseball star Jackie Robinson holding his young son Jackie Jr. on his lap as he sits with his wife Rachel on front steps of their home, Brooklyn, New York, 1949. Photo by Nina Lean. Buffalo Calf Road Woman is a Native American warrior who is credited with helping end U.S. Army Colonel George Custer during the American Indian Wars in 1876. Custer was responsible for massacring Na. Building collapsing during the Blitz, 1941. Bunun people of the Leipunuk tribe, Taiwan, circa 1930. Burial at sea on the USS Intrepid, November 1944. Burlington Mayor Bernie Sanders picks up trash on his own in a public park after being elected in 1981, his first electoral victory. Bustling call center, where people would call to ask for directions for their journey, Netherlands, 1963. Busy Tiensian Street with Memorial Church, West Berlin, 1980, Germany. Butch Cassidy and his Wild Bunch. Front row, left to right, the Sundance Kid, the tall Texan, Butch Cassidy, Standing William News Carver and Kid